Well, in that case, Hiram, there is something you need to know.
Daddy, Riverdale is back, and this episode is jam-packed, so let's go ahead and take a look at Season 3, Episode 13, and find out just what happened. What the hell is up, Riverdale family? I have missed you. Lisa here, and it seems like forever since I've gotten to sit across from you on this weird thing called the internet and discuss this stressful piece of entertainment that's called Riverdale. Like, holy cow, this week's episode was so packed with storylines that part of me thought, like, what? Just what? That's really what I thought. Basically, I thought it was, like, a bit much, and it left me, like, if anything, after this episode saying, no, we have to protect precious Kevin at all costs. You keep that evil freaking farm away from him, right? I'm not the only one saying that. Correct? You're with me on this? Okay, sorry, let me calm down. Now, we don't get to see Edgar ever and ever in this episode. It seems like they just keep putting it off and off, but we finally do know who is playing him, and he's coming very soon, and Edgar is going to be played by none other than Chad Michael Murray. Now, I love Chad because I was a big One Tree Hill fan, one of my top 5 favorite shows, but if you're telling me that I am supposed to believe that Chad Michael Murray is the father of Evelyn Evernever, he's got a kid the same age as Betty, and I mean, I guess it's possible if he started having kids like real young, especially if he's banging all those girls way back in the day. But yeah, I'm curious to see how he plays into this whole thing, but for now, let's go ahead and dive into this crazy episode. First up, let's talk about Archie, who, yes, at this point is still kind of annoying me because he still thinks he knows better than anyone else. Basically, this kid's lacking common sense still. You thought that, I guess it's been beaten out of him. He's been beat up a lot. But yeah, he and Josie, this is a real thing that I guess the show is going to do, so they're dating and trying to figure out ways to spend time with each other, but they're both pretty busy, Josie with her college-type stuff, and Archie with his training with Tom Keller for boxing. Now, as Archie is training, Tom tells Archie that he's getting good, but Archie, he's just like so gung-ho about getting in the ring and getting a fight because he thinks that that's what he needs in order to know if he's ready. He's just got to prove himself. And he kind of needs to know if this is going to be a career option for him since, you know, he walked out of those SATs and he's an ex-convict and he doesn't really see a good future for himself as of right now. Well, wise old Tom Keller tells his young grasshopper to be patient and that boxing isn't something you want to half-ass. Yeah, I wouldn't want to half-ass getting my face beat up either. But alas, this is not what Archie wants to hear, so he ends up overhearing Elio trying to set up a fight with his boxer, this big scary dude named like Randy Ronson or Randy Von Ronson or something like that. And Archie, he just jumps in and is like, I'll take the fight. And then when Elio says that Archie has to be the fall guy and he'll get $5,000 to actually lose the fight, Archie's a little hesitant until Elio basically sells him that this fight will be good for Archie. It'll get his name out there in the boxing community, all of this. So Archie, he agrees because, let's face it, he just wants a fight. Well, as expected, Tom is not okay with this, and here's Archie like a broken record saying he's got to prove himself and jump in the ring, and Tom's just kind of like, good luck, dude, because if you don't cancel this fight, you're on your own, and I'm probably not going to see you again. Josie's also not keen on Archie throwing this fight, and well, it seems like she's the one who finally gets through that thick skull of his, and Archie goes to change his mind. So while I may not ship this relationship right now, if Josie can get Archie to stop being a freaking bonehead, then I might have to get on board with it. Anyway, so Archie tries to back out of this fight and give the money back, but as expected, he can't. Elio's like, no dude, you're stuck with this. Archie goes crawling back to Tom to beg him to train him just in enough time for the fight, because he doesn't want to throw it now. He actually wants to like risk it and beat up Randy, or at least hold his own. So of course Tom has to teach Archie technique because that's the thing he's lacking. And well, at the fight, Archie does go rogue and, you know, he actually holds his own. So Elio gives Randy the signal to take Archie out, but well, being big and strong doesn't mean you have the endurance to take on a scrapper like Archie. And Archie ends up, you know, standing up at the end of the fight after all the rounds. No one is knocked out. Archie's only got a couple cuts on his face. I mean, like, he looks pretty good from what was expected. But unfortunately, Archie ends up losing in a split decision. So thankfully, no one's going after Elio. That means no one's going to go after Archie, although Elio might still go after Archie for, breaking his word. But I also have a feeling that maybe the judge was paid off too just in time. But while Archie may have lost the fight, it seems like he's going to keep training with Tom to actually learn to do this the right way. And Archie still gets rewarded with some sexy time in his room with Josie. And all I gotta say is that I hope that that boy has washed those sheets. I mean, the girls in Riverdale just seem to drop their panties in the snap of a finger for this boy. I mean, I get it by looking at him, but yeah, like I said, all Archie's relationships just seem like sex relationships. So let's hope that somehow there's a deeper connection here. I don't know. Seems like she's already kind of giving him better conversations and better advice than Veronica did, in my opinion anyway. Moving on to Betty and Alice, though. Alice is getting her wedding dress ready because guess what? It's finally time for her to be baptized into the farm, and you can bet your bottom dollar that Betty is not happy about this. The fact that Betty can't find anything about this Edgar ever and ever, not even a picture of him online, is not helping either. But Jughead gives her some advice saying that maybe she should just play along and be supportive for now, show an interest so that she can actually keep an eye on Alice. So Betty does and pretends to be supportive of this whole baptism thing until she sees that Alice has signed some paperwork that basically says that if anything bad happens to Alice and she dies or something during this, that the farm is not responsible. Yeah, you can bet Betty makes sure to let Polly know that if anything happens to Alice and she dies, that the blood is on Polly's hands. Betty then hits up Google to do research on people who have escaped the farm and asks Kevin to help her. But guess what? Evil Evelyn never got there first and already put her little claws into our sweet little Kevin. Yeah, ever since Moose left, Evelyn has been the one to step in to comfort and be a friend to Kevin, even offering to introduce him to some farm guys. So yeah, Kevin's kind of siding with the farm. That is not a good sign as far as I'm concerned. So Betty goes on this mission alone, calling some of the women from the articles, and finally gets a call back from one named Martha, who meets her in the bunker and informs Betty that she left the farm after her sister Marigold died in one of the baptisms. And then when Martha explains that the farm believes that you have to get close enough to death to see your truth and survive an extreme ordeal in order to achieve ascension, yeah, bells and whistles are going off in Betty's head, especially with that word ascension. We've heard that 1,000 times on this show. We'd be drunk, dead drunk, if we took a shot every time we heard it on this show. But hearing this word sets Betty off, and she bolts it out of that bunker and runs towards the farm because apparently she does not have access to a car, and these people run everywhere, which seems like it would not get her there in time, but it's television, so she gets there in time to find Polly holding Alice's flailing body underwater. Thankfully, Betty's able to pull Alice out and revive her, and Betty thinks that this will be like the moment, the turning point when Alice realizes, dude, you just almost died. Like, Betty hopes that she walks away from the farm, but unfortunately, it's the opposite. Alice is now completely sold on the farm, saying she's been reborn and saw her purpose, and now she's finally going to purge the last thing holding her back. And here I was like thinking, oh no, Edgar's told her that Betty's bad. Like, is Alice going to purge Betty? But thankfully, Alice just says that she's going to sell the house, and then they're all going to go live at the farm and be a family together. Now I have a feeling Betty's totally not going about that. Like, she's probably going to go sleep on Jughead's couch, which will be difficult since Jughead and FP are both sleeping on the couch right now. So maybe she'll go room with Veronica, sleep on Archie's floor. I don't know, but I have a feeling Betty's not going to be sleeping at the farm, right? One other thing that was quickly mentioned is that Betty hasn't been able to get a hold of Martha, that lady who gave her all the details. So I'm kind of thinking that you never fully escaped the farm, and hopefully she's not a goner. But she might be. Moving on to Shoni. So Jughead learns that all the serpent girls are defecting to join the Pretty Poisons, and Jughead takes the blame for all that, and they're losing a lot of numbers, so he decides it's time to go back to talk to Tony to try to get her to come back to the gang. Well, Tony says she'll only come back if she's made Serpent Queen, but Jughead unfortunately can't do that because he's already made Betty Queen. So Tony is all about taking her opportunity to lead the Pretty Poisons, but Jughead says something that does get to her. He tells Tony that all of this is just Cheryl's vanity project. Tony then goes to meet up with Cheryl and the Pretty Poisons, who are getting archery lessons, and she fills Cheryl in on what happened with Jughead. Tony says though she's determined to figure out a way to put Jughead in his place, but as expected, Cheryl hears this and decides to do things her own way and gets the Pretty Poisons to beat up Fangs and Sweet Pea, which makes Tony furious, calling out Cheryl for using the poisons to air out Cheryl's own personal vendettas and stuff.
Is this gang mine or yours? It's yours, of course. then never deploy the poisons that way again without asking me.
It's kind of like, how many times is Tony going to have to put Cheryl in her place? Like, Cheryl for me has her good days and her bad days, and this was definitely one where I was like, thank you, Tony, for telling her off. Cheryl, she learns like very slowly. She's kind of like Archie, where she never fully learns and reverts back to the bad behavior pretty quickly, thinking she's probably doing the right thing and not realizing she's being super selfish. So I just want her to kind of learn and just be the sassy Cheryl. It doesn't have to be the selfish Cheryl, but the sassy Cheryl. This gang dilemma, though, becomes an issue for Jughead as he realizes they're really losing serpents, and this ties to the drama that goes with Veronica, Hiram, and Gladys as well. So first, Hiram talks to Veronica, and we learn that Hermione is covering for Veronica, saying that Hiram's drug stuff was destroyed because of the feds. And now Hiram thinks that the Joneses are trying to pull a fast one on him, and he knows they would have needed to help of someone close to him to pull this off. And yep, he's putting those feelers out to see if he can crack Veronica.
The truth will shake out. It always does.
So now Veronica's freaking out, and when Gladys comes to pick up her weekly payment from Veronica, Veronica warns Gladys that Hiram suspects Gladys and FP that they're up to something. So Gladys uses her bargaining chip of ratting out Hermione to get Veronica to spy on Hiram for her so that she can be steps ahead, because Gladys wants to take over the candy business, aka the drug trade in Riverdale, before Hiram can rebuild it. And well, Veronica agrees to spy since she wants her family out of this drug business. So Veronica goes to Hiram to propose that he actually focuses on the prison part of the business and get out of the drug trade, because he can actually make more money putting those drug dealers in jail. Now Hiram sounds interested, but then he decides he wants to think bigger, and since the ghoulies are now leaderless, he wants to gain control of them since they kind of controlled the trade. So then Veronica runs off to tell Gladys all about that. Add in the fact that Sweet Pea and Fang show up getting beat up, and Gladys now tells Jughead that he needs to go recruit the ghoulies because the serpents need to raise their numbers soon, or other gangs are going to be taking over and the serpents will pretty much be no more. Jughead's reluctant at first, but then he goes to pitch the idea to FP, and FP's definitely not excited about it, especially when Jughead asks if the serpents can have immunity from the law so that he can pitch that to win the ghoulies over. Well, FP ends up saying yes, as long as he doesn't have to sign anything, because he knows he does not need to be leaving a paper trail. So yeah, this all sounds like a good idea to Jughead, but there's a problem. There's basically only one ghoulie left standing because of the rest of the ghoulies went over to the gargoyles. So Jughead goes to seek out the gargoyles, and well, these guys are so far gone into like a trance of this Griffins and Gargoyles thing, and they mentioned that the Gargoyle King lives, and Jughead's just kind of like, yeah, these guys are a lost cause, see ya later. And he does feel sorry for them, but he's gonna figure out a different way to fix things. Gladys, though, she's not waiting for Jughead to figure that out, so she goes behind Jughead's back and recruits the Gargoyles because they need all the manpower they can get if they're gonna take back over the city. And she just tells Jughead to suck it up because they're gonna have to learn how to work together. So yeah, Gladys Jones, she's not one to be messed with. She's pretty scary if you ask me. But back to the Lodge family drama. When Hiram asks Hermione if she's talked to Governor Dooley lately, you can see the worry immediately on Hermione's face, and that grows when Hiram also mentions he invited Gladys to come over for a meeting so they can talk and kind of get a feel for each other and get on the same page. Now this angers Veronica because she thinks Gladys broke their deal, and Veronica goes to confront Gladys, and I feel like Gladys is just sitting there listening to Veronica try to berate her, being like, oh, bless your heart, child, like here you are thinking you can threaten me. At this point, it's like Gladys has probably seen everything, and Veronica is this like naive kid thinking she knows best. But yeah, it's like Gladys probably just like flicks Veronica off like a little piece of lint on her jacket. Veronica threatens Gladys by being like, I'm gonna tell Jughead. But you know, Gladys isn't worried because she doesn't feel like Jughead would kill her. However, Gladys wouldn't put it past Hiram to go and kill Hermione at any point. So when Gladys goes to visit Hiram, Veronica wants to sit in on the meeting, and Hiram's not really about it, but Gladys actually says, nah, let the kids stay. And well, Hiram is very suspicious when Gladys starts to pitch the same thing Veronica did earlier about the jail and splitting the jail and the drug trade thing. So when Gladys then starts to open her mouth like she's about to sell out Hermione, Veronica butts in really quickly, saying that she's going to give Hiram what he's always wanted. She's going to be part of the family business and they can do this together, and that seems to win Hiram over, at least for now, so he agrees to focus on the prison as long as Gladys and FP send him a steady stream of prisoners. But Veronica, she still may not be able to save Mommy Dearest.
She will not be a factor. Either way.
And then things get even worse when Hiram finally gets a hold of Governor Dooley and learns about Hermione's donation the same day, basically that he was shot and all of this. And then Veronica finally has to fess up to destroying the drugs and equipment in order to save Hermione's butt. So for now, Hiram is just making Veronica pay back the $75,000, which she is okay with as long as she buys her mom a little bit of more time. But part of me is just like, come on, Veronica, you've seen those looks on Hiram's face. He is a smart man, and Veronica, I know you're not that stupid. Like, Hiram's already figured this stuff out. He knows Hermione's to blame. He knows Veronica has a part of this. Like, I just don't think that Hermione will be able to be saved. Unless somehow that badass Hermione who was like, the boss at one point in, what was it, season 1, right? The end of season, I don't remember when it was, but when, yeah, there was a point though when they had Hermione being like you believed she was this crime boss. Like, where is that Hermione at? And well, thus ends the events of this week's episode of Riverdale. Yes, like I said, a lot was going on, so many storylines. And as much as I don't like really Hiram and Gladys and how slimy they are, I actually do kind of like Gladys more. Hiram still just gets on my nerves. But that's just testament to the way that Mark and Gina play these characters. Like, they are so good at playing these characters. And with the mention of Ascension and the farm, Edgar definitely has to be behind this, like, Griffins and Gargoyles thing, right? Like, this, is he the real Gargoyle King? Like, what's his ultimate goal? Is he just trying to brainwash all of Riverdale and then the world? Like, why does he need to kill people or get them close to death? What's the point of this whole thing? Overall, though, this does not rank on my list of any of the favorite episodes this season, but parts of it, they just felt all over the place, like they're juggling too much at once. But you know what, I'm chugging along because I just can't stop. So let's take a look at the promo for the next episode.
What's with Kev?
They got him too.
Everyone at the farm knows all of your dirty secrets.
Both of you, back down! You need us more than we need you.
Why are you helping me?
He has a branding. It says sacrifice. You'll fly too.
You'll float too! You'll float too!
Okay, who the heck is this Ricky D kid that apparently has the same brand as Archie from the Gargoyle King? Also, I'm supposed to believe that Archie is going to be a mentor to this kid or something, or protector. Yeah, I still don't think Archie's fully recovered from all the crap he's went through, so I don't know if I trust him being around a child at this point. But maybe this is a good mentorship. Maybe they need each other. I don't know. Should be interesting. But now it is time for you to hit the comments and let me know your thoughts on this week's episode. Which of these storylines was your favorite? Which was your least favorite? And which do you want to see play out moving forward? There's a lot to choose from, right? Between Hiram and Gladys, who do you think will end up being the victor? And the farm. What the hell's up with the farm? I don't know. I need all your thoughts and theories down in the comments below. After that, don't forget to click right over here or down here or whatever it is and subscribe. Hit that bell so you don't miss any of my videos, including interviews and random things that I have, which some of them you can check out right over here. As always, I'm Lisa. So great to be back with you talking about Riverdale. And I'll see you next week to ramble some more or whatever the next episode is. Okay, bye.